Good morning and welcome to Newswatch Today. I'm Summer Ottershot.
And I'm Kaylin Tilley. Evangel's homecoming weekend is upon us.
Also, Seahawks defensive end is helping keep children warm.
Cameron Lee is here with your forecast, and Emmeline Perkins has your latest sports news. This is Newswatch Today.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Right now we have Cameron Lee to give us the first look at the weather.
Yes, I hear many people are glad to have gotten some rain this week. Are we expecting any more of that today?
Well, not today we're expecting any of that rain, but we can look forward to today's current conditions being around 44 degrees, but if we get later into today, it's actually going to warm up, highs of 63 degrees. As for that rain, we'll have to wait until later to see if we have any more in our forecast for this week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Cameron. I guess we'll know more in just a little while during your full forecast.
Sounds like a great day ahead. I'm looking forward to this weather.
Okay. The Seattle Seahawks are taking action to help children stay warm this upcoming winter. The team took shoes, coats, gloves, and hats to needy kids at Seattle's Beverly Elementary School. Along with the clothing, they also handed out books, snacks, and other supplies. The first all-school assembly since COVID-19 featured not only the team, but also the Seahawks mascot, Blitz. Around 400 students received supplies for winter. The supply of a drug used to treat bacterial infections in children is waning. 3 out of the top 4 makers of amoxicillin are reporting of the lack of the drug, used for treating many different infections, including both ear and throat. The drug is also useful because of the numerous forms it comes in, including liquid, which is the easiest form for children to take and the one that is in short supply. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is working with different companies in an attempt to fix the problem.
After a windy night, a Colorado woman was stuck in her house due to a tower of tumbleweeds. Marlise Gross woke up to the exits of her house blocked by tumbleweeds. When she tried to leave her driveway, she couldn't see the road in front of her, and she almost ran into the neighbor's fence. Gross says she is contacting her insurance and the county to try to remove the tumbleweeds, and she's hoping the wind doesn't blow even more into the area to make the situation worse. The community is invited to attend several key events as part of Evangel University's annual homecoming celebration on October 27th through the 29th. Evangel recently celebrated Spiritual Emphasis Week with the story is Bernardo Gatica.
That was so bad. I'm all the way across campus.
Last week was Spiritual Emphasis Week, where students take time to reflect on their spiritual health before classes start getting harder. Evangel students gathered at the Barnett Recital Hall for Spiritual Emphasis Week. Guest speaker Alan Griffin gave a total of 3 sermons throughout Wednesday and Thursday night.
One servant was brought to him who owed 10,000 talents.
Students claim it was a night to remember, with many students being healed in miraculous ways.
It was amazing. I definitely saw a bunch of my friends get healed, especially my roommate Dawson, who had a broken collarbone, and he recently just got a test for his doctor. He came back that it's recovering well and that he's able to go back into his usual self.
Students engaged in worship and prayer, but it seemed to be more like a mosh pit. Either way, students were more than delighted about the worship.
It was very active, very physical, and I think when it comes to worship, it could be like very physical, it needs to be very joyful.
Alan Griffin shared many stories and spoke about spiritual gifts on Thursday night.
I thought he was amazing. He was very intentional with his words. He was very funny. He's very engaging. I really liked him as a speaker overall.
Spiritual Emphasis Week is a time where students don't have to focus on classwork as much. They take time out of their day to dig into themselves and search for what God is telling them.
Spiritual Emphasis Week gave me an opportunity to just get away from the stress of like school and classes and all the things that are going on in my life and just focus in on what God is saying to me and what God has in store for me here at Evangel.
last week was very important to every student, with a powerful worship and sermon by Alan Griffin. Thursday night was definitely a night to remember. For Newswatch, I'm Bernardo Gatica, signing out.
Up next, an interview with Evangel University's homecoming administrator, Hector Cruz.
We'll hear more from him when we get back after this break.
My addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
This past Saturday, Evangel University students, faculty, and staff participated in National Make a Difference Day. The event was co-hosted by Evangel Center for Compassion and Crosswalk. Participants completed service projects throughout the local community. These projects included bagging groceries, cooking and meal prep, landscaping and yard work, painting and cleaning. National Make a Difference Day is observed on the 4th Saturday in October, and it's one of the largest collective days of community service in the country. Summer Radashot is standing by with a special guest. Summer?
Thanks, Kaylin. With me today is Hector Cruz, the Senior Director of Development for Evangel University. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me, Summer.
So homecoming is this weekend, and with that comes many activities and events here on campus. Can you tell us about some of the highlights that are happening on Friday and Saturday?
Absolutely. It's shaping up to be a huge homecoming weekend. We've got over 550 people registered for the weekend, and even more than that, we've got about 250 guests coming to have an admissions visit for the weekend as well. So there's going to be lots of traffic on campus. Some of the things we're looking forward to, of course, the homecoming football game. That's the first thing that people think about when they think about homecoming, and so we're excited about that. That'll be Saturday at 1 o'clock. But before that, Friday, some of the highlights, some of the new things that we're trying this year include a groundbreaking ceremony for the Valor Center, the Randy Rowden Training Facility. That's going to be exciting. We're breaking ground on that facility, which is going to be the first building built on campus in over 10 years. And so that's going to be a significant event. We're going to celebrate that. And then after that, later in the afternoon, we've got the Alumni Awards ceremony where we're going to be honoring several alumni at 3 o'clock. And then a lot of the departments on campus do different activities throughout the day where they honor alumni within their departments. They have different receptions for alumni to join. And then Friday evening, County Fair has really been one of the events that has been a favorite for homecoming weekend.
That is so exciting. So you mentioned how homecoming is a time to honor outstanding alumni. Can you tell us about some of those who are being awarded?
Absolutely. So this year, part of the Alumni Awards ceremony will be our Tree of Honor Award. And the recipient for the Tree of Honor Award this year is Mr. Chuck Cox, and he was the alumni director for over 30 years. And it's interesting that he's getting a Tree of Honor Award this year because he was one of the individuals who helped start the Tree of Honor program. So it's really fitting for him and has really been a supporter of Evangel for a long time. Some of the other alumni awardees, I won't mention their names because I want people to come to the ceremony to find out. They've been published already, but we've got people who are going to be there who are district youth directors, people who are social workers. One of our alumni awardees is on the general board for the entire Church of God in Christ denomination and is the president of the International Evangelism Department for Kojic, which is really an awesome thing to have him on campus and honor him with this alumni award. And then another one is the guy, believe it or not, an Evangel alum who invented the Sun Chip. So do you like Sun Chips?
I love Sun Chips so much.
So the inventor of Sun Chips is an Evangel alum, and he's getting an alumni award this year, which I think is really cool.
That is absolutely amazing. I also like how Evangel's a Christian university, but they're also honoring people who are in vocations outside of stuff strictly in the church.
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of our ethos, right? I mean, everybody is called to impact the world through every vocation.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go buy some Sun Chips now.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you must be a busy person around this time. What is the process of getting things ready for this weekend?
Good question. So planning homecoming is definitely a year-long event.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I just sent out the next meeting invitation for next week, where we'll have our debrief session for homecoming for this year and start thinking about next year. So pretty soon after homecoming, we start meeting monthly with a group of individuals that's really a cross-section of campus leaders. And we'll start doing homecoming planning in November, and we'll meet monthly to set the schedule and start thinking about what it is that we want to try to accomplish in the next year's homecoming, inviting people that are going to be celebrating their honored years. So every year we honor the reunion classes that are 10, 20, 25, 30, 40, and 50 years removed from graduating from Evangel. And so that group really is the one that takes the mantle of planning for homecoming. I'm really just a traffic cop to make sure that things are moving forward, that problems are being solved, that we're thinking about all the different nuances of the homecoming weekend. And that group really does a great job pulling it all together.
That is so amazing. So you mentioned the groundbreaking for the Randy Rowden, and you said they're building another building. What exactly is that for?
Yeah, good question. So this is going to be an $18.5 million building. It's going to be the Randy Rowden Training Facility, which is sort of going to be an end zone facility just off the turf field that's back there, just off of Coryell Field. That's going to be a new weight room, new training facility, new offices, new meeting spaces, and all of those things. Connected to that, all in one building, is going to be the Valor Center, and that's going to be the brand new basketball and volleyball arena for Evangel, the new home space for our volleyball and basketball teams. In addition to that, we're going to be able to have chapel in there, have concerts in there. It's really going to be a multi-purpose type of facility, of course, with locker room space and all of those things. So it's really going to be a significant impact for Evangel and for our students.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today with us, Hector.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Let's go back to the desk with Kaylin and Cameron.
Thanks, Summer. So Cameron, is it going to stay cool the rest of this week?
Well, there are some cooler temperatures on the forecast, but I'll tell you more about that when we return.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Evangel University's communication students have been making quite the name for themselves. Students have won awards from different state and national contests, including the Society for Collegiate Journalists, Missouri Broadcast Educators Association, and the Missouri College Media Association. Dr. Cameron Pace, chair of the communication department, expressed the importance of these awards as it shows the students' strengths and also areas where there is room for improvement.
That sounds like such a great opportunity for those students.
It is a great opportunity for all the communication students. Cameron, what is the weather looking like this week?
Well, that's a great question, and we'll get into later in the week, but where I want to start right now is our current conditions. It's around 44 degrees, but as we get later into today, it's going to sunny up, it's going to get 63, it's going to warm just a bit, but it's going to stay those fall conditions like we've been asking for, so that's exciting. But as we go into tonight, partially cloudy and lows of 40, so it is going to cool back down. We're going to need that big coat if you go out this evening, and then those winds are around 11 miles per hour. But today's temperatures, we've seen 67 degrees roughly, but what I want to focus on is that record temperature being 88 degrees, meaning that it was literally 88 degrees at one point in history during this time of the month, which is crazy because it's October. It should be cool. And then something else to focus on is sunset being around 6:39 p.m. So if you're wanting to go see that, that's what time that's going to be at. And then taking a look at our satellite, we can see some storms moving around through here, but what I want to focus on is these storms over here, because as we can see, they're moving this direction, and we'll see later in this time that this storm is going to move over towards Missouri. It's going to come over us, and we're probably going to see some scattered showers from that. And we can see that over here in our radar. We can see those same storms moving up through here. There's some along through here as well, and we're expecting to see those come across Missouri and head over to us. But looking back at our Missouri temperatures, 63 degrees here, Kansas City 61. All around us, it's going to be roughly in those light 60s, so we're all feeling about the same temperatures. But when we look at the national forecast, there are a few things to note. Right through here, this is going to be the scattered showers that I was telling you about. This is what's going to move towards us. As well, this is going to be some more severe thunderstorms, and then the severe storms as well as right through here. This is all moving towards us, but we're probably going to see more along the lines of these scattered showers as well. But something else to note is the snow that we're seeing over here as well. Maybe that'll move towards us, but not anytime soon. As well as this cold front that's headed our direction as well. That's probably going to warm or cool down our week starting into next week. But looking at our 6-day forecast, what we can see coming up through here is that it's going to cool down. We're starting at around 67 tomorrow, but it's going to get all the way to 59 on Sunday. But then it picks back up. We're actually going to hit 67 and 71 on Tuesday and Wednesday. So it is going to sunny up and get a little bit warmer. Hopefully it won't stay that way since it is fall. We want those cooler weathers. And that's all I have for you guys today. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Cameron. Just around the corner, Emmeline Perkins will be here to give us the latest in sports.
And we'll have some new news about the progress in climate change. This and more when we return.
My kids put skis on as they were learning to walk. I want my kids to be able to have those moments with their kids. Being a scientist, I'm worried about climate change in so many different ways for my kids. From the second you have a child, you want to do everything to protect them. I think our action on climate change is no different. It's just an extension of being a mom.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Class, today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
The United Nations reported Wednesday that global temperatures will allegedly rise to between 2.1 and 2.9 degrees Celsius based on the world's current climate pledges, which is beyond the 1.5 degrees that nations are trying to stay below. The UN reported advocates for more work to be done to transition away from the fossil fuels such as gas and oil. The report does not discuss how citizens will manage to heat their homes without these fuels in the near future. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that livelihoods and natural economies are being pummeled as the fossil fuel addiction spirals out of control. There was no mention of these nations specifically that have not made any progress in this area, such as China.
Wow, it is news like that that really inspires eco-friendly living, don't you think?
Yeah, that's true. Let's now move to sports. Standing by is Emmeline Perkins.
Thanks, guys. 2 Evangel teams will be hosting their senior night this week. The women's volleyball team will be facing off against the Central Methodist Eagles tonight at 7 in the Ashcroft Center. And the Valor football team will be taking on Mid-America Nazarene Patriots at Eagles Stadium at 1 p.m. this Saturday. This will also be the Valor's homecoming game. The Evangel Sports Department recently added new members to the Athletic Hall of Fame. Those members include Keith Bearfield, a former football coach, Brandon Schmidley, a former wide receiver, Kim Pinner, a women's basketball alumni, Jeff Zielinski, a men's basketball alumni, and the 1995-96 women's basketball teams. These individuals will be recognized during the halftime during the homecoming game this Saturday. Rookie Bryce Hall of the New York Jets suffered a season-ending injury on Saturday in the game against the Denver Broncos. They suspect this injury is a torn ACL. This injury will cause the Jets to suffer, as Hall has been a big part of the team's success in this year so far. He has 463 rushing yards, which puts him ranked 8th in the league. This has helped move the team so they are now ranked 2nd in the AFC division with a record of 5-2. The Denver Broncos and the Jacksonville Jaguars will be playing live from Wembley Stadium in London, England, Saturday, October 30th at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. The Jaguars are currently 4-4 all-time in London, where the Broncos are only 0-1. Don't miss this game. You can tune into the game from ABC, ESPN+, or NFL+. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Emmeline. That sounds like a game you're not going to want to miss.
It sure does. Speaking of something you don't want to miss, a grandma in Texas had decided to pursue her dream of becoming a pilot. More on that after this break.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant! It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seats for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
It's never too late to do what you love. Tamara Nicholas stepped down from her Air Force career over 20 years ago to raise her children. Now a grandmother, Nicholas decided she wanted to get back to what she loved, flying. She realized she wanted to get back into flying with her husband on Southwest Airlines. She wanted to encourage anyone in all career fields that you can always get back to doing whatever you love.
That sounds like it might be a lot of fun.
I think it'd be so fun to get back to what you love to do. Cameron, it is homecoming this weekend. Please tell me the weather's going to be nice.
Well, Summer, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Saturday looks like it's going to have some scattered showers. That doesn't necessarily mean that those scattered showers are going to hit during the game, but they are expected to come all day Saturday. It is going to be a little chilly, 63 degrees on that day, but later into the week, Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to warm back up. Those showers are going to go away, but what we want to focus on is that scattered shower coming on homecoming. Sorry to say it. Back to you guys.
Well, thanks, Cameron. Kaylin, do you plan on going to the homecoming game?
Yes, I do.
That's good. I'm going to be there rain or shine, but yep. That's all for today. I'm Summer Ottershot.
And I'm Kaylin Tilley. This has been Newswatch Today.